The Coalition for the International Criminal Court began as about 20 non-governmental organizations that were monitoring the UN General Assembly's ad hoc committee on a draft statute for an international criminal court back in 1994, 1995. By the time of the Rome conference, we had about 530 groups participating in that conference, 800 in our coalition. Today we have 2,500 groups in 150 countries, professors, lawyers, jurists, advocates for gender justice, children, child soldier groups, peace groups, disarmament groups, social justice groups, conflict prevention, peace building groups. It's an amazing cross-sectoral partnership for global peace and international justice. Our projects are so diverse. I mean, we work on trying to elect the most effective candidates for judges and prosecutor and registry. We want to have the appointments process for the International Criminal Court to be one based on merit, not on politics. We want the court to be independent, so we have many, many things that we do on independence. Our projects on universal ratification, we have offices in all of the different regions of the world working, monitoring how countries that have signed the treaty but not yet ratified, or who would want to ratify even though they have not signed the treaty, how to move forward with that, how to work on national legislation so countries could legally join the court and then legally be able to participate in this new system of international justice. We have projects where groups are working on gender crimes and making, I mean, women and children are amongst the worst victims of war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. So there's a great challenge that we're trying to surround the terrible plague spot of war in international society that has caused so much devastation for, well, thousands of years, and slowly make the world a little safer. And this is international law that's actually law that's enforceable on the individual for the worst crimes that all of the countries have agreed to are the worst crimes, and they've all adopted the treaties, and now they've created a court to enforce that treaty, and civil society is there to try and work with the governments, work with international organizations, work with the world's media and other decision makers and policy makers to help carry this dream to reality. Well, the Coalition for the International Criminal Court is this global partnership of over 2,500 non-governmental organizations of civil society from 150 countries. And we are apparently the largest global partnership for our international justice. So the Rome Statute's review conference, the Rome Statute is the greatest advance in international justice and perhaps in international law since the UN Charter was adopted itself 65 years ago. So we were the largest delegation in Rome, civil society, and will be the largest delegation at the review conference of the Rome Statute in Kampala. This is really kind of a constitutional issues that are going to be discussed. Small c and capital C. On the small c, it will be how can we improve the International Criminal Court and the Rome Statute system in terms of cooperation and in terms of complementarity. Complementarity being how national laws can become so effective that countries can primarily be responsible for prosecuting these crimes. And cooperation, the court can't succeed without the cooperation of UN, of peacekeeping, of the Security Council, of the African Union, of other regional organizations. So international organization cooperation is tremendously important, and national cooperation is important. The big C constitutional issues that the review conference is going to address are constitutional issues of the international legal order. What will be, they're going to try on amendments to amend war crimes, add a new jurisdiction for aggression, which would hold leaders and generals responsible for acts of aggression, individually criminally responsible for this. So these issues include the role of the Security Council, the role of the veto, the role of the General Assembly, the role of the International Court of Justice, the role of the ICC, the role of nation states relative to the say the Security Council. They're tremendously important issues. Civil society will be in Kampala for the 2 weeks, working with victims groups, working with child soldier groups, working with the governments on the amendments process. We will be holding literally scores of events for the governments, for the international organizations, and for our fellow members of civil society. Well, in an intergovernmental conference, our role is consultative. The states make the decisions, the governing body. In this case, there'll be another 30 or so countries, and for the first time in 7 or 8 years, the United States government will be participating in the review conference. Our role is consultative, and so we will be advising on all of the stock-taking issues, peace and justice, victims and affected communities, the cooperation, the national legislation and complementarity issues. We'll be consulting on how they're dealing with the definitions of the crime of aggression and other crimes. In other areas, our members are actually helping the Office of the Prosecutor in terms of evidence and exposing crimes that are occurring. Our groups are working with the victims of these crimes, with the refugees, with witness protection. Some of our groups are defending those who are accused of these most serious crimes, in making sure fair trials and defense. Ratification, many of our member organizations are still trying to get the 70 or 80 countries that need to ratify the treaty so that it is universally applicable to ratify the treaty. This takes years of work in many, many countries because it involves a fundamental constitutional review of their system of justice and their system of laws. So there's almost no aspect of the work of the ICC that the civil society groups, the NGOs, are not working on, but across a tremendous diversity of mandates. Well, the expectations is that we can come out of the Kampala Review Conference with an improved and strengthened Rome Statute system. We need the governments, the governing body, the 111 state parties to agree to take on issues that they have postponed in the first 6 or 7 years. And those issues include national legislation, monitoring how they are implementing the Rome Statute crimes, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide in their national legislation, how they can cooperate with arrests and prosecution of those who commit these crimes, how they can help the victims, help protect witnesses, provide intelligence, help with arrests. All of these issues are important. A second issue the governing body needs to do is is implement the 66 recommendations on cooperation, national cooperation and international cooperation. So our hope is that in the first half of the review conference, these so-called stock-taking issues will be advanced, and the governments and the governing body will agree to long-term steps for strengthening the court and the new treaties and the new system of justice. The second part of it is amendments. They put in an article in 1998 to give an exemption for 7 years for war crimes to countries that ratify. Should they eliminate that? The coalition would like to see them eliminate it. Should they add crime categories to war crimes that the Belgian government has proposed and 20 or so other governments? And I think most of our members hope that they will approve that. The most difficult issue will be the crime of aggression, because it involves first the state act of aggression, which would have to be determined that a state committed aggression, and then after that how the prosecutor and the judges would hold individual leaders who are responsible for that act personally responsible for these crimes. And in addition, then how would this whole new crime category be amended or added to the ICC's jurisdiction? So this will be difficult. If in a short sentence, this is a tremendously important treaty and new system of justice, and so our hope is that we'll protect the treaty and improve the system of justice. Well, the first preambular goal of the United Nations Charter after World War II was to save future generations from the scourge of war. One of the worst scourges of war are war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. This independent court and new system of justice created by the Rome Statute in 1998 is a miracle. It could not have been agreed to a year earlier, and it certainly couldn't have been agreed to a year later or up until now. Even today, there's no chance that the strong treaty that was agreed to would have any chance in our current geopolitical environment. So governments have created something amazing: an independent court, independent prosecutors, an appropriate relationship with the UN and the Security Council, extreme advances in gender crimes, internal armed conflicts, and even non-armed conflicts like disappearances apply. No impunity, no immunities. I mean, this was a court that could work, and it was a tremendous achievement of the international community in 1998, and it's a real challenge to protect it and to help take it forward.